Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
So yes, today was a solar eclipse at my house. What was it like at your house, Jacine? Did you guys get to see anything? Were you any kind of path?
No, it was cloudy. I know it got a little like darker outside, but it was cloudy, so you couldn't see anything. And it didn't get like super dark or anything. Like when it happened a few years ago here, that we were like in the main flow, it was dark.
Right. That's what happened at my house. It was
Yeah.
so weird. Aubrey and Cole came out, and we were supposed to have some missionaries that had served in our ward before that wanted to come, and then they ended up not coming. So it was just family. But it was like they came out at noon when it was supposed to start, and we sat around and thought, well, this is boring. And then we went and sat down out in the meadow so everybody could watch the sky, and well, put the glasses on. This is boring.
Yeah.
We kind of sat there for a few minutes and like, all right, let's go for a walk. So we went for a walk. We came back. As we're coming back, 3/4 of the sun was covered. And I'm like, well, this is kind of just dull. I mean, it's still plenty sunny outside, it's kind of dull. And so you really couldn't notice much. And then I went in the house, and as I came to go back out of the house, it was completely dark.
Yeah.
The solar lights had turned on. It was like kids had flashlights dark. It was crazy, so different. And it stayed dark just 2 or 3 minutes. And then as soon as the tiniest sliver was revealed of the sun, everything was bright again. It kind of blew my mind. Did you get to see anything, Jen? Was it anywhere in your path?
We had like where the most covered it was it almost looked like a little bit of a crescent moon.
Uh-huh.
We had it was like a sliver of it, but we had clouds all day, so it's like it was like just a big cloud went in front of the sun is what it felt like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you kind of just didn't know, you didn't see a difference.
No. And it was, I mean, literally the sun had to be completely covered before it was dark. It was so powerful that any tiny bit of the sun lit the sky up, which just blew my mind. You'd think that it would diminish by degrees, like if half the sun is covered, it'd be half dark outside, but it wasn't.
It's like the moon, because when the moon, right, as it gets smaller and smaller, and where we have no moon or we have a sliver of a moon, the sky is darker, right? Everything.
Yeah, it is.
But it's so different with the sun. When it's an eclipse of the sun, not the same. Yeah.
Any tiny sliver of light made the change. It was phenomenal. And of course, you know me. Okay, so I got in the car to come down to Aubrey's after the eclipse. So now I'm here. And it's an hour and 15 minutes. And of course, the kids were all exhausted. They'd been running the dog for 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. We'd taken everybody down to go feed the mules. Everybody was just wanting to be tired. So I'm sitting there thinking, as I'm watching out the window and just admiring all the beautiful green. It's so lush here right now.
Mm.
and thinking, doesn't that just seem like life? I mean, because I told you I was in the pity party. I'd been in the pity party on and off all this time. And it's like the eclipse is what it turned out in my head. I'm like, yeah, it's like there's just this little bit of shadow. You can't even really tell, but there's just this little bit of shadow that's covering up my light. And then there's a little bit more shadow that's covering up my light. And then there's just where it's almost twilighty, but you can't really tell. And then it's dark.
Mm.
And then it just takes the tiniest sliver of light to bring me back. Just
Mm.
the tiniest sliver, and it comes back. It just kind of was so crazy. So crazy. But that I really felt like that's the way it works in my life. That the shadow comes in and just slowly closes off light. Maybe the shadow is thinking I'm not good enough. That was this week's blog, or thinking I'm really not making any kind of difference, or thinking just horrendous judgmental thoughts because I'm so good at that. And then it just gets darker and darker and darker until finally something flips the switch and it's just dark. But then all it takes is one little sliver of light and it flips everything back. It's crazy.
So cool.
Just
So
was
cool.
crazy. Just crazy. So the question today is, okay, what eclipses peace or hope or light for you in your life?
Mhm.
I already told you mine. Pity party, judgment, hangry. Heaven help the world if I am hangry. You know.
Tired, not feeling well.
Yes, because you're struggling with a
Overly
cold. So what's
tired.
that do with you when you don't feel good? What happens?
Yeah, it's really hard to see the light when you don't feel up to par. It just is, it's harder, I guess. So it diminishes. It
So like,
eclipses.
is it like a 3/4 eclipse?
It depends on how sick I am.
Oh, that
So,
is true.
yeah,
Okay.
right now, not a 3/4. No, it's just like, like I kind of want to go to bed. It seems like it's been 8 o'clock at night all day long since I woke up.
Yeah.
Right. So it is just a little bit eclipsed. But yeah, that's one of those things. The other thing for me is when I lose my connection with God, because I'm choosing not to pray, just, oh, I'm too busy to pray, or oh, I'm too busy to read my scriptures and, to turn on a song that would remind me of him. And we all know where that comes from. But
Well,
that definitely eclipses the peace and the calm and yeah, just that light in my life because he is the light in my life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. There was in church this week, there was something said about giving place for negative thoughts. And when I heard that phrase, give place, I thought, you guys know, we live in a very small space. And I have 3 floor to ceiling bookshelves that are about 3 feet each. And that's all of my stuff. And the bottom has got cupboard doors and the rest is open. So for me, giving place means it's got to really have value. There are family pictures. There are some very special things from my ancestors, my grandmother or Troy's grandmother, but you have to really make a difference. I mean, you have to really be important for me to give you a place on my shelf.
Wow.
And when I heard that, I thought, oh, but look at all the garbage I give place to in my brain.
Mm.
It's like an episode of Hoarders in there. I've been pondering on it all weekend about not giving place to things that don't belong in there, and I think that that's so important with our curating and our thought work is to choose, like you were saying, choose to give place to things that bring light. And if it doesn't bring light, then don't let it have space there. Don't give it a place. I mean, yeah, it might come through, but if you don't give it a place, it's just going to keep going.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pondering on the whole give place thing for a while. I can tell.
Mm.
I've given place for way too many things. They don't belong up there. What do you think, Jen?
Oh,
Eclipsing light, giving place. There's lots of things to talk about.
No, I thought about this today because I read a book probably 2 or 3 years ago about this woman who lost her sight most of her like in her life, and gradually,
Mm.
she lost her sight, and she'd prayed and she'd wanted miracles and like that, and she finally came to the realization that the Lord wasn't giving her sight back because there was stuff she needed to learn. But she talked about how she was able to feel when the sun was out, gauge where she was by like how the sun would feel on her skin. And I thought that was super interesting. But then she moved it into the what are your sun blockers? Like what blocks your sun?
Oh, this is perfect for the eclipse.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Like
Yes,
being the son, the son of God. So what are what's your moons that are getting in front of the sun? And so today I really started thinking about like I have been in those places, not very good, like discouragement, things like that. This past few weeks, and I'm like, what's blocking me from feeling that peace, feeling the sun, feeling the warmth, feeling the all the good feels, and
that the joy and the hope and the optimism, that's all light.
and I was like, oh, there's lots of self-criticism. That's one of my light blockers, my sun blockers. I'm like, oh, and there's self-judgment. I mean, all the stuff that you were saying, but in like a little bit different way. So I was just
You
like,
got your own twist. We all do. Everybody's is different.
Yeah, and so but also what kind of came out of it was like what same with you, like it was just for a moment that it was dark.
Yeah.
My blocker.
It
And then
was.
when I chose to think differently or move through it, then it moved away and the light could come in. Even if it's just that little crack. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, it was a good pondering day on that type of thing today. What are my moons? What are my sun blockers? What are my eclipses? It was a good day.
What eclipses my light?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is getting in between me and the Lord?
Oh, I love that, because the SON.
Yeah.
And the moon that gets in between us and the sun.
And it's usually me. I'm getting in my own way, but it's like, what are the things I can label them? Self-criticism, doubt, judgment, those type of things. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes right along with that the drawing that you created, Beth, for CMH coaching, the where is your center? And when we're self-centered, it's really hard to have the light. When we're feeling, feelings of injustice and anger, scarcity, greed, loneliness, isolation, comparison, when I'm comparing myself with everybody else, all of those things, it's just, I'm looking inward, and it's really hard to have light when I'm looking inward.
Yeah, you can't see when all you're doing is focused in.
Yeah.
And there's
Really
no light there. There's just no light. Yep. Not good. It's wild. So
but I love how Jen said that it's just, first of all, recognizing that I'm having those thoughts, or that I'm in that pity party, or wherever I am, or feeling injustice, feeling justified in my anger.
That's right. They did me wrong.
That's right. That recognizing that, and then choosing new thoughts, choosing to reframe it, right? And going into those 5 hours or 8 hours that we have now in CMH coaching, just following that framework, and then that light just starts to come, and it opens up more and more and more. It gets brighter and brighter. Yeah.
Brighter. And it only takes the sliver. Like when the eclipse started to move, that sliver brings light. I remember reading from Virginia Hinckley Pierce, a book one time where she talked about putting things that were negative up on a shelf for another time. Maybe it was Marjorie Pay Hinckley. Do you guys remember?
I don't remember.
Talked about the negative thoughts that are coming into our minds, whether it's they did me wrong, they should have been better, I should have been better, that's not fair, whatever.
Probably
the negative.
Yeah. It's probably Virginia.
It sounds like Virginia Hinckley Pierce, right? But she would put the thought, she would recognize the thought, and then she would put it on the shelf for later. And then periodically she would clean off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really love that idea. It kind of goes along with what you're talking about with the not kind, not true, not helpful. When you're going to measure a thought, just putting it away. But sometimes, especially if I'm indignant because somebody has really done me wrong and I'm having a hard time forgiving, sometimes moving it onto the shelf is easier than moving it completely out.
Yeah.
And so that just gives me the distance until I can grow and learn enough to move it off.
It gives you space.
What?
It gives you the space.
Gives you the space, right? Because you don't want it to take up the space on your bookshelf that's right in front of you. You don't want to give it place, a place right there in the forefront of your mind. So yeah, put it somewhere else, the space.
Like, I like that. I like that idea better because oftentimes, especially if I'm feeling like I've been wronged, I want to prove that I'm right. And so I like to take those things and put them in a file folder just for my proof, right? This is proof right here.
My evidence file.
And do you get it out periodically?
Yeah, it's the evidence. See, this is exactly why. And so you just gave me a different picture in my mind. And I know that I do that. And I struggle with that because I'm like not ready to let it go. But I like the idea of like, okay, let's take it out of there and we'll put it in a box and put it high up. And I'm not going to peek at it.
Well, mine's on open shelving, just so you know. When I take mine and I put it up on a shelf, it's way up high, so it's not easy. I have to really look for it to see it, but it's open to the light and to the air in hopes that the light and the air will be appropriate disinfectants that maybe it will just disintegrate over time, you know?
Or it gets dusty and old and you don't need it anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's just up there away. Yeah.
Not feeding it. My file's not growing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the vision of the file folder. Ooh, that could get ugly in a hurry. An evidence folder. Yeah, that could be really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You get enough of those and it's hard to get out of bed in the morning. Yeah. Because that would not feel good to be carrying that kind of a burden.
It takes over your life.
Yeah, it really would. It really would. I would think that it would impact your self-worth. I know for me personally, if I start thinking a lot of critical thoughts about someone else, I'm much harder on myself. And I'm much more likely to take offense from anybody, misread whatever they're saying as something that is critical of me, you know? It's not good.
I have found, and I don't know where I read it, but I have found, and in the book it stated that if you are being critical of somebody else, is something that you're trying to not be critical about yourself.
Yes.
So if you find yourself criticizing somebody, just kind of wait and say, no, wait a minute. What am I not happy with myself? What is it inside of me that I'm not trying to criticize, or I am criticizing? Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like it's that thing. And that really stopped me a lot of the criticizing, because I was like, wow, that is just really showing me what I'm unhappy with inside of myself, what I am like trying to actually be mean to myself about. So
well, and I love the flip side of that. When someone is critical of me, it helps me to extend compassion to them because I know that there's something that they're suffering with inside of themselves along the same way. And it just tells me a lot about them. And so for a long time, I've used it that what they say is not really about me at all. It's about them. And that really helps me to feel compassionate towards them and not to feel judged. Yeah. We did talk about compassion some this week in the blog, and the opportunity that we all have to extend compassion to ourselves when we get those ugly things like the hoarders on my shelves, you know. But what is it that helps you when everything is all eclipsed like that and dark? What helps you to get going? I mean, I think the question that we were pondering on was, what gets you out of bed on the most difficult days? Because we can all think of some of the most difficult days. Everybody's had them. But what got you out of bed on those days? What got you up and back on your feet?
For me, like I was thinking just back on being a single mom kind of day, and those days were super hard. And what got me out of bed was knowing that I had two little boys that needed their mom to show up for them.
Yeah.
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 And to be present and not to be having a pity party. And yeah. So just looking outward, being able to serve someone else and not necessarily be stuck in my own sadness and sorrow. I remember one time was talking with a friend, and friends are super helpful too, but
Mhm, mhm.
right, but was talking with a friend, and she was really sick, and she had a son the same age as my oldest son. And I just thought, well, I have some chicken here, and I could just make chicken noodle soup and take it over to her because I had all the ingredients. And so I did. And just being able to take that pot of soup over to her and drop it off, and it it helped me let go of all of my stuff. And it
Yeah.
helped me feel like I was doing something and being something for someone else, which was really, really powerful. And I was pretty young. I was 23. And I remember that. I remember that experience and how I felt when I did that. It was really, really cool and powerful.
Yeah, it is a real mind-bending thing that you can have such a quick, it's like you let in that sliver of light when the moon had eclipsed your sun, and it just everything looks different. It all lit up when you
Mhm.
chose to do something for someone else.
Yeah,
Took
yeah.
it took some energy and some oomph, I would imagine, though, to get yourself up and get going.
It did. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
Was there any kind of anything else that happened that actually got you going, or was it just pull yourself up by your bootstraps? It's just we're just doing this.
I think the biggie for me was that there are other people out there who have problems and I can do something to help.
Yeah.
So it was a shift in my thinking.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not the only one suffering here.
yeah, just having someone else that I could hear in her voice. She felt like a loser because she wasn't able to hold her baby. And,
Oh,
yeah, it was hard. It was hard for her. And I thought, okay, well, what can I do?
yeah,
Because I love her, I love her. So what can I do to help her?
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, I love that. Doing for somebody else. Jen, was there something that you do to get yourself going?
A lot of it is that just 5 4 3 2 1 out of the bed.
Oh, you tell. What's the 5 4 3 2 1?
Mel Robinson.
It's Mel Robinson,
Yeah.
and it's like 5 4 3 2 1 take off, type thing.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like you count yourself down, and there's just no choice. You're up, you're out. And so
So
a
you're
lot
just gonna say, I'm just gonna count 5 4 3 2 1, and
three
then I'll be
one.
up.
Yeah, and I'm up and I'm out, or in 5 4 3 2 1, and I do something different. It's like it's whenever you get kind of stuck in that I don't want to do's.
Uh-huh.
You just count yourself down, and you don't give yourself a choice. You're just doing it. And you don't let your brain engage in that like argument in your head. You just do it. But
Right.
before I found that out, I just was like, sometimes I was just like, I just have to change my physical position. Like if I go get into a different room or go
Mhm.
out on a walk, or even sometimes when it's really bad, I'll be like, you know what? Hey, I'm just going to go grocery shop. And I know we don't need any food, but I'll just grab like 2 or 3 things, just get myself out of my environment and come
Mhm.
back home. And usually by doing that,
Yeah.
shifted something.
Yeah.
Yeah, a change in environment's big. And shopping is lovely. I just love shopping. Yeah. Even if I don't go buy anything, I love the smell of fabric sizing. I
Oh,
love fresh, new, clean things. Just
Hmm.
love to be in that. If I had an art museum close to my house, I'd probably go
well, that
there.
would be good.
But
Yeah.
shopping is the next best thing for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I know all of us have had extended periods of time when it was really hard to get out of bed and face the day. And we've all been through that suffering phase, of the bottom part of the 50-50 for extended periods. And one of the things that I learned from Jen actually was her practice of waking up in the morning and saying, "Good morning, Jennifer. I love you." And I'm not there, but I could do it. But what works best for me, and that started me. Good morning, Jennifer. I love you. And I just roll my eyes. I really have a hard time whenever you bring it up. But what works for me is to smile. I can muster a smile when I first wake up in the morning and thank my creator. And I can do that. I don't know why the good morning, Beth, I love you thing doesn't roll off my tongue, but the smile works.
It's really, I mean, I love the woman who teaches it. And because anybody can just say, "Oh, good morning, I love you," and it can be, it's just pretty, just out there. It could be like,
right, but it's not personal.
When you say "Good morning, I love you, Jennifer," it's like, holy cow! Because how many of us need to work on our self-compassion and our self-love? That's what this is about. And it was hard for me at the very beginning. I was like, but not today. I don't like myself. Yeah, you just slowly do. It just changes. It's so, there's just a part of us or parts of us that just need our love so badly.
Yes.
And that really helped change, because I was in that bottom 50 where the first thing I would do in the morning when I wake up, I would just feel dread. And
that was me too.
Like, I don't even want to start this day. I mean, it was just really hard.
I don't want to be awake. I don't want to do this.
It was just, and it was already, I'm fighting to do my day. And then the depression would hit and all the stuff and everything. And it's changing that thought pattern in the brain, that neural pathway. As soon as I started to feel myself become conscious, that dread would come in. I'd be like, nope, good morning. I love you, Jennifer. And even though I would roll my eyes, but it shifted after a while.
Yes, I may get there. Yeah. I do love giving thanks first thing.
Oh yeah.
That is wonderful. Thank you because I have the best pillow top mattress cover. And so that'll just, thank you for this softness. It just feels so good. And that'll shift and start giving thanks. Yeah. That is a good one. But expressing self-love, that self-compassion is so important, right?
Yeah.
It is just critical. Yeah.
Well, there's so many things like in our toolbox, so many things that we've learned in CMH coaching that, like, I have all these things going off in my brain, changing our physiology is a big deal in order to shift that mindset, like Jen was saying, so I just have to leave or go do something. But think of like the yoga poses, the power poses in yoga, and how you feel when you're doing those poses. And,
it changes our physiology and our thoughts. Yeah, it really does physically.
Yep. Yeah. So, gosh, we could just go on because there are so many things that we've learned and that we use in our coaching toolbox, it's just like, yeah.
But so we're not going to go on and on. Instead of going on and on, Jacine's going to invite you to come to our masterclass kickoff.
I am.
3 short days, 3 days, and then it's going to come and it'll be gone. So you want to tell everybody about it?
Yes. Come unleash your inner peace. Like, doesn't that just sound so amazing?
It's like the light. It's just like the light on the eclipse. You get that little bit of peace, that little sliver of light, and pretty soon everything's better.
Oh my gosh.
That's unleashing the power of peace, right?
Man, it is so true. So true. So that is Thursday. We have go to eventbrite.com. That's where you can get your ticket. I think it says I can't remember how much it says it is, but then there's a coupon that you can apply towards it to get it for free. So
it'll come out for free. And when you get on Eventbrite, be sure you search for the online class. It's an online event. So you have to tell it online. There's a box you'll check, and then anxiety masterclass. It'll come right up.
Yep. And there's two options. One is at 11 Central and the other, no. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Central. I like him looking at my calendar in my brain, and 5 p.m. Central. So
no, 7, 11,
7 p.m. That's 5 p.m. my time. Oh my God.
It'll be at 5 your time, 9 and 5 Pacific. But 11 and 7 Central. Here we can even translate for Jen's time. 8 and 8, right? No.
12.
Yeah, 12 noon and 8 Eastern. Yeah, we got this.
I won't show up if it's 8. Sorry.
No. You got class. That's Pilates time.
Yeah.
That's Pilates time. It really is going to be an exceptional experience, though. And this first one is free. We only had 4 seats left last time I checked for the 7 o'clock class. So if you want to get on, you better get on. There were more seats at the 11 o'clock class, but there weren't very many left for 7 o'clock at night. So it would be worth checking right away if you're going to do it. And we're going to offer it twice a year moving forward. So it'll be another 6 months. So if you're struggling with giving place for garbage in your brain, or if you're struggling with fearful thoughts or the feeling of too much change, or just anything you need to feel more peaceful about, it's going to be very helpful to help give you the power to turn that chaos into some peace in your mind. Between now and Thursday, though, we have a couple other things happening. Tomorrow we have Coach and Clear, and we'll be meeting with other faithful, like-minded women to do some group coaching and to enjoy the collective faith of the group, which is really cool. And then to clear some emotional baggage and get some fresh air in to kickstart the rest of the week. And so we do that every Tuesday at 1:30. And then Wednesday, Jacine, how's book club going?
Book club's good. We had our first, we're reading Kate Morton's The Clockmaker's Daughter. So it was written in 2017. And kind of think about your house. And if you have an older house, think about the lives that have been affected because of that house.
Oh, interesting.
So it's really kind of a cool thing. It's all about a house and then the people who come through that house and the feelings that they feel and the experiences that they have. And it's pretty cool. It is partially a murder mystery kind of, but a love story, and then just all about this really cool house in England. So yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love it. And then we have a jumpstart. We moved our jumpstart for April, right? It was going to be on the 13th, but now it's going to be on the 20th, right, Jen?
That's correct. Yes.
And so we're going to have that one on April the 20th. It's Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central. And Jen, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I'm just going to be teaching about, we learned the previous one was it the aroma touch, where you talked to us about emotions and essential oils. And I'm just going to be talking a little bit more about essential oils and discovering the inner landscape and emotions, and using the aid of our aroma and essential oils in doing so. So just as an inner discovery.
It's going to be really good. I love your jump starts. They're great.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we'll be back again next week, because that's what we do. Every Monday, a creator-based life to help you figure out how to stay based in your eternal divine creator. It's funny because I was talking to somebody the other day and she just went, "Oh, creator? You mean, oh, I just got it. I always thought it was like coloring with crayons, creator." No, a creator-based life is a life based in your personal creator, the being who created you. And for some people, that's God. For me, it's a Heavenly Father. It's the being that created you. And so we'll be back with another week of a creator-based life. And you can bring crayons if you want.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, Please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
To me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day, I pave the way with every little